Trying something new.
Trying something new. Mr. Basson, get your fish on. Hopefully, if you're watching us on the Get Your Fish On channels, you see us.
I am going to go there right now.
Okay.
And yes, I don't want to hit the button because then we'll probably get feedback. But yes, it is. Hold on. I'm going to hit it and then I'm going to hit mute right now. Hold on. Let me just see. Yes. Did you hear us?
What up, Matthew? Yeah. That's cool. Great.
That is awesome.
So we've got a little software change here, and now we're going to be able to both stream simultaneously on both channels. That is sweet.
And hopefully I'm going to go to Facebook too. Hopefully on Facebook too, where there's a lot of people from.
You won't have to guess now to Little B. You can just go to whatever channel you want to.
It is on Facebook. I'm looking at it over here. So that's
Sweet.
awesome.
Nathan, Chris, how you guys doing? Yeah, this is great. Technology, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, this is so much better. So how are you? Hola, everybody. Aloha. Hello. What's up? Hey, everybody. I don't even know what to say. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm finally over that iCast hump.
Yeah.
And now it's just a matter of getting back to normalcy. I guess that's the best way to put it. I don't even know if that's a word.
I think it is.
I did a podcast yesterday about iCast with my boy from Dennis Isbister from Wild Fish, Wild Places.
Cool.
And then I did, we'll do this. And then tomorrow, supposedly, Monster Bass wants my honest opinion about their box on their live show.
Really? On Thursday night?
On tomorrow night. So if they're ready for it, I'm going to give it to them.
Great. That is awesome.
They might not like it, but that's tough. You know what?
Yeah, so to Little B, yes, you should be able to see the chat on both channels, and whatever channel you are on, you should be able to type your message, and we should be able to see it here.
Yes.
So that will be the other piece of the change here to see how that works. But I believe it should work fine, no matter what channel you're on.
I don't know if I can. Well, you'll be in charge of putting the comments in. It looks like.
Can you not? You can't click on it. Click on them.
Not that I can't click on them.
Okay.
But that's all right. David asked how the legs and feet feeling after the iCast workout. I can tell you I lost 9 pounds last week. It doesn't look like it right now.
Wow.
But I lost 9 pounds.
9 pounds just because of the heat or because of what?
Just the heat. The heat. Yeah, the heat probably was part of it. I don't know what Orlando's convention center is thinking, but Sunday, maybe Saturday, they started letting the iCast exhibitors in, and you could start putting your booth up. And we went in Sunday afternoon, mid-afternoon. Well, maybe Sunday just after lunch. I left here, and from Sunday to Tuesday, there was no air conditioning inside the convention center. They had some big fans up 80 or 90 feet, but those fans don't hit you at all. It was miserable hot, and it rained like Monday. It rained. I mean, it was disgusting rain on Monday. So it set the tone. And then when iCast opened, then things were much, much better. It was much better. So
Cool.
it was, it is what it is. You just had to go set it up.
Okay, Booster's saying chat is not the same. So I don't know what that means exactly. But
yeah, I don't know. Just as long as.
Are you watching it on your channel still?
I am not.
Because I was wondering if you could see the chat on your channel just to kind of see what it looks like.
It says there's a echo too, which I don't really have it. It'll echo right away if I do that. If I put it on.
Gotcha.
on the thing. I will try it again. Oh no, I see you. I'll try it right now. I mean, I think it's just it's going to have some glitches for sure. Someone else said they don't hear any echo.
Yeah.
So, I can see people on my chat, like see big. Oh yeah, I can see people here. There is more chat in Mr. Bass than here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's normal. So so what's been? I'm not even going to worry about chat because that's going to just get me all distract us. Yes. So what's been going on with you? Tell me what, because we haven't really talked. What's the channel? What's your channel been doing in the last few since last week?
Man, I haven't been doing hardly anything. Last week, I kind of checked out because I was so busy on work stuff.
Yeah. How did that go? Everything good?
Good. Yeah, it went good. Yeah. Yeah, it went good. And then this week's been really busy with work stuff too. I'm in construction, summertime. It gets really, really busy. So that's kind of what I've been dealing with more than anything.
And have you got any new boxes in since last week that we need to know of that you're going to do unboxings of?
No, I have not gotten anything.
Really?
It's been zero. So that's interesting too.
Isn't that kind of, I hate to say this, but isn't that kind of refreshing, to be honest?
Yeah, absolutely it is.
I mean, it's nice to get a lot of the stuff, but there are times when you're just like, okay, do I really need this much crap? I mean, that's kind of how I have been. It's part of the talk. Some things I talked to Mystery Tackle Box and Florida Tackle Club quite a bit at iCast.
Yeah.
I talked to Vic quite a bit for 2 or 3 hours, and then I went over and saw Ross at Mystery Tackle Box at Ketchco. He's the president, and I mean, I think Mystery Tackle Box has got some good ideas that they're going to try to do, or I guess I can say it. They're going to actually take less profit, or they have taken a little less profit over the last 3 or 4 months so that they could put better products into their box, because they were seeing a lot of people like not only cancel, but they were getting so much backlash of negative comments and stuff like that. So Ross put in a new team to kind of go, look, let's start looking at what we're doing a little bit more carefully, and let's give back more than making our overhead so high. So I think that
have they started that now, or
they have?
Because I think I've mentioned this, in the last few months the Mystery Tackle Box I've seen a vast improvement.
Yes. I think it's happened in the last 4 or 5 months. So he said they were going to stick with it. I know they were out running around buying massive amounts of lures. And I'm talking massive amounts of lures, hundreds of thousands of dollars in lures. So hopefully they're able to continue with what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Like you said, I think that I watch because I don't get Mystery Tackle Box. I watch your unboxings, and I think they've been really good the last few months. Really good.
I agree. You triggered a thought there where you were kind of asking about after iCast, and is it too much? And I've kind of been asking myself the same question, because when I get these boxes, I love looking at tackle. I love going through tackle. I love pulling up the new here we got the Berkeley Power Baits new flatworm that you and I talked about the other night on my show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, I got to try this. Everybody's talking about it's amazing, and the Max Sense is unbelievable, and this new flatworm's crazy, and I'm super pumped about it. But you get kind of overloaded with so much tackle. I mean, quite frankly, if you were to look back behind, month after month, and you take your monthly boxes, how much of that tackle do you ever even really get to fish with?
I had the boxes behind me the other day, and I went back and started putting stuff like either on the wall, or I put it in my tackle box, or it goes in a 5-gallon bucket. And I can tell you,
this is why I started this whole deal. That's how
yes,
this got started. Is I had so many of these monthly boxes, and I was like, I can never use it all. I'm going to
yes,
start giving it away.
yes,
And then it's kind of started morphed into other stuff. We'll start having people like Chris and others donate even more and
yeah.
stuff.
And I've gotten to the point where like the other day, the only stuff that went in my tackle box was everything that FTC sent me went in my box, and I think 3 other lures from last month out of Monster Bass, Bass Baits Monthly, and Major League Fishing went in my tackle box. Now 5 or 6 went to the wall.
Yeah.
And probably 10 went into the giveaway. So, you know, it's giveaway stuff. That's the best. That's kind of the way I've been thinking. Simon asked if Guggen had anything at iCast. They didn't. I did go see. I got to do an interview with Justin LFG, and he was really nice. A little bit. I had a little bit of weird. It was a little bit of weird conversation with him, but it was overall it was decent. They weren't in most cases when those guys show up, they get mobbed. So it was nice that there were only a few people around that got to see them and didn't go crazy. So it was really cool. And my boy Ray Markham is here. He was at the iCast with me. He went to the whiteout party with Tackle Webs too. He was asking the DJ to play I Like Big Butts a lot and have the women that are our wives dance and shake their booties on the floor, and that didn't go over very well.
I'll bet it didn't.
But shout out Ray Markham. That's my boy.
Oh man. Well, that's cool. That's good. So what now that you've kind of decompressed from iCast, what are you been up to this week?
So yeah, I've been just taking photos and doing trying. This is not exaggeration. I probably have 50 closer looks that I'm slowly working at. And I'm still 24, 25 up. So there's not a real sense of urgency to get it done.
Yeah.
And because it's still it's still summertime, I can't go to the spring to do the underwaters. So I'm kind of one of those I love that you put that up there. I haven't been able to do some of that. So I've been just doing photos and just getting things ready. I guess that's the best way. Doing my little thing. And I'm also I can say I've been editing for a buddy that has a relationship channel, and it isn't something I'm accustomed to. This is the God's honest truth.
Yeah.
I'm used to talking fishing and doing that kind of stuff. So now I'm having to watch a lot of relationship crap. And by the end of the week, I will be a professional psychiatrist for men. If you need any issues I'm joking, on your love life with your ex or your girlfriend or whatever it is.
Wow, that's going to be amazing. We're going to have incredible fish talk and psychology.
We should ask Craig to come on the show because he knows nothing about fishing.
Yeah, we ought to do that. Oh, man. Well, there is a fishing psychologist. He wrote a book called The Art of Exceptional Fishing or something like The Mentality of Exceptional Fishing. Maybe one of you guys will remember the name of it. I've got the book, where he talks about the psychology behind fishing, and that there is a huge mental game to any sport, and the fishing sport also can really play havoc on you mentally. And it's kind of funny. You look at the guys like Jacob Wheeler. That dude has got so much confidence.
Oh God,
in his abilities. He's dialed in.
Yeah.
You get with other other fishermen that maybe doubt their abilities, and boy, it doesn't matter how good of a fisherman you are. You got to believe in yourself. You got to be You got to have it right up here between the ears, or you're not going to be able to compete well.
Yeah. Actually, I saw Jacob. Jacob is definitely being on the show very soon.
Sweet.
So that'll be fun. I had fun time talking to him about the flogger. He and who was with him? Jonathan Van Dam were next to me, and I mentioned something, and then he came over and kind of just was like, "Oh, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you with you that one day. I've been busy filming things," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, no problem. Don't worry about it." And then I was like, "You and I got to talk about the flogger." And he's like, "Man, would you ever have imagined something like that would cause so much stir in the industry?" I'm like, it was awesome to watch, but at the same time, everybody was like, you have like $35,000-$40,000 equipment on there and on the front of the boat. And he's like, to be honest, because the water's so clear, that all that stuff doesn't help you on those lakes, that waterway. And so he's like, the flogger is what you needed to use. And I kept going, well, that flogger probably sold out everywhere. He's like, yeah, I should have got a commission on how many were sold after that, because they sold out everywhere. And they weren't cheap either. They were $400 or $500.
That's crazy.
So, it is. There was someone that said, asked about the boxes competing against each other. I think you're going to see, to answer his question, I think some of these boxes or bags are getting, are now, they have had a downward spiral for years, and they're trying to step up their game. Well, Mystery Tackle Box is one that's trying to do the right thing by maybe not making as much money, and then also now they've got a better team together to make the box better. One of the rumors at iCast was that Monster Bass is going to switch to completely all hard baits, and that was I was going to ask you what you thought about that. Would you, if you got a box full of, now they'd have to they'd have to put less in the box, but let's say they put 5 or 6 hard baits in the box, would that make you happier?
I think it probably would. Every time you talk to a person about lures that go in a box, the hard baits are considered the premium baits. They're considered the better baits. And even though a pack of soft plastics, like, check out this, here's a pack of Yamamoto flapping hogs. Look at the price of that, $7.49. And this is for 7 flapping hogs.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Compare that to a crankbait. A crankbait might only be $5-$6, but I think psychologically, getting back to, we're talking about psychology tonight.
Yeah.
But psychologically, you kind of think to yourself, hey, the crankbait, that's a real lure. And maybe we think that because in theory, soft plastics are a one and done. You fish with it today and it's going to get torn up today, and then you're done with it. Although you can lose your hard baits real easy.
Yeah.
But I think that might be a smart marketing move on their part to say, we're going to go all hard baits.
So I have another question. I apologize. So what happens if it's crankbaits or stick baits or jerk baits or whatever it is, hard baits, and you've never heard of the product? You've never heard of the lure, or they go the same way as that one company. I don't even know who you have. They put their own, they rebrand it and put their name on it. And it's all, you get 1 or 2 monster basses in every.
Well, Warriors Tackle's doing that right now.
Yes.
They have an entire box of nothing but hard baits.
Yeah.
And every one of them is a Warriors Tackle lure. It's a rattle trap, or it's a jerk bait, or it's a crank bait, or whatever.
But are they decent?
Say again?
Are they decent lures?
I don't know. I mean, they look okay. They look fine. One of the things I kind of always have to ask myself too is, am I a tackle snob? Because
don't look behind you.
Don't look behind me. Because man, when I was a kid, I would have loved that Warriors Tackle box.
Yeah.
with those 5 or 6 lures. I didn't care what the brand name was, um, but boy, I've gotten suckered into the whole brand game. I'll be the first one to admit it.
Okay, so I'm going to show you a lure. I want your honest opinion. I don't know how well you can see it.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
You want me to do whatever you do? I don't know.
I can definitely see it.
It's got like 82 joints.
Yeah, that seems excessive.
Yeah. But what? Oh, if you were to get this in a box, would you be happy? And Booster, don't comment.
I think it would. Well, here's the thing. I like those kind of lures. But if it were a generic brand, I probably wouldn't give it a whole lot of credence. If it
I got all these on Amazon. There's 3 of them. See them?
Beautiful.
Horrible hooks, like the worst hooks you've ever seen. I'm going to do a closer look, or I'm going to do a video on these. I got all 5 of these things, 5 of these baits on Amazon for $9.11.
There is a big junk tackle market going on right now, mostly on Amazon. You can do the same thing for dark sleepers. You can find a pack of fake dark sleepers for pennies on the dollar compared to the Megabass version. And if a guy buys them for $1 each and goes out and catches fish with them, there's definitely a market for cheap stuff.
So we have a guy here in Florida that has a tackle shop, one of the bigger tackle shops around, and every soft plastic that comes out, this guy knocks it off. And then what he does is he sells it. You can buy 1 pack, you can buy 2 packs, it's all soft plastics. You can buy 2 packs for the same price that you can buy the name brand that he knocked off. For example, he has a knockoff of the Reaction Innovations
Skinny
Dipper, and you can go get 2 packs of them, and you get 10 in a pack for $4.99. And they work. By all means, they catch fish.
Yeah,
maybe not the same action, but really close. And this guy sells hundreds of, maybe even 1 million lures of soft plastics a year. He's in every store down here.
Really?
Because people are like, well, especially now when nobody could get the stuff. And he was able, he had thousands of them in stock, hundreds of thousands of them in stock.
Wow.
But he knocks off everybody. And I mean, there's a lot of people that go to, I don't mind saying it, bidders, but I have a 25 pack of them.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't find the Reaction Innovations one day, and I'm not a big fan of bidders, but I went, I got to get these. I want to fish with them on Toho the next day. So that's what I did. So, and I think I got like 50 of them for like $11. And I was like,
yeah, I think I'm kind of on the fence there, because sometimes, depending upon the type of fishing I'm doing, I don't care if it's a cheap knockoff lure. I think what N5KDA, Gary is this guy's name in real life, says here is a really good point. It's not so much a bad thing to fish with a self-branded lure or get a self-branded lure in your box. What's annoying is when they try to price it the same as the Megabass or as the other high quality lures. They put their cheap knockoff lure in there and they say crankbait, and they say this is a $20 crankbait or a $15 crankbait, and you're saying to yourself, how can that be?
It isn't. When they do that, that's one of the things I really dislike. If you're going to put your own knockoff brand and you're knocking off something, my first question to that usually is, I would love to know who your designer is. Like when I did a review of Monster Bass months and months, maybe in the first few boxes, and they put in one of their own lures, and they were like, we upgraded the Megabass, whatever it was, and now we've got this for we've made it for $15. And I thought to myself, first off, you're in your first 3 months, and how are you making a better bait than monster bass or mega bass? Excuse me.
Yeah.
That irritated me to start off with. But then you're saying it's worth $15. All you did was, I've said this. You can go to China and they'll have thousands of rod blanks, and you can go, I want that one right there in orange, and I want it to say this.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you're buying that blank that might have been, someone's a G Loomis blank for pennies on the dollar, and you're renaming it. And I don't agree with that. That's, I guess the best way to put it is I don't agree with that. I think if you're gonna do it, at least put some research into it. And if you say you're gonna make it better, you better make it better.
I think you are making an excellent point here. I can tell you for a fact, Mega Bass has all kinds of super serious Japanese anglers,
yes,
that are testing and experimenting, and I mean and they are critical about quality components and incredible details. And guess what? Rapala does the same thing. Strike King does the same thing. There's a lot of these big companies that put tons of money into R&D to improve their products and to make the very best product they can. And I got a hard time believing that the Joe Blow box of the month is doing anything near that. They don't have the staff. They don't have the resources. They don't have, Rapala's got, I don't know how old they are. Are they 90 years old?
100 and some years old.
They've got decades and decades and decades of lure making experience.
Yes.
You can't discount that. And that experience year after year, decade after decade builds and morphs into their products. So, that's why I don't mind paying $25 for a Mega Bass jerk bait.
It hurts.
I know what I'm getting,
I think the perfect example of this is it won the best of show this year. First off, when you go to iCast, they have they have categories that everybody wants to win. They have giftware, they have hard plastic, saltwater, they have hard plastic, freshwater, they have soft plastic, freshwater, soft plastic, saltwater. So there's 30 categories, or really 26 categories, and everyone's trying to win that category so they can get that best of show sticker. Yeah. And then once all the best of shows are all put together, then they take all the winners, and then you try to vote for one winner. And the new Berkeley Gilly, which everybody is in love with, is a almost identical knockoff of the Imagatsu Javelin Gill. I mean, almost even the way you have to rig it. And my buddy Josh is not going to be happy that I say that, but I say it. I said it many times this weekend. I did an interview with him on that Gilly, but I didn't put it in my interviews for people to see, because when I started editing it, I kept repeating Imagatsu Javelin Gill, and I kind of felt bad about it. But that Javelin Gill is, you get 4 soft plastics for I think $30, maybe $28. I have 4 of them, or I had 4 of them. The new Gilly from Berkeley is going to have 4 pieces, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be $10.99 or $9.99, and it will be, it will sell out everything. Other than it's the first time you rig it, you're going to be completely pissed off. So just remember, you're going to burn one on your first time rigging, unless you're your booster who can outfish all of us. But that bait, everybody, there was a lot of talk and rumors and a lot of stuff going on at iCast last week. Everybody wanted that Javelin Gill in their hands. Everybody wanted
I've got a gill bait that looks similar to that thing too, now that you mention it, and you rig it sideways as well. I wonder what the brand of that is. I might run in my tackle room and grab it and see. But you make a good point. Another good point here, which is we just talked about how these mega companies spend all this money on R&D and that kind of stuff. Well, they're also a business And another thing they do is copy everybody under the sun and duplicate it, and especially the really good stuff that sells well. I like the Dark Sleeper is a very unique little swim bait, and I cannot believe I haven't seen a ton of Dark Sleepers by the other companies yet. But there has got to be a Dark Sleeper knockoff right around the corner. It's just got to be coming. The Chinese have done it. You can buy them on Amazon for super cheap now. And Gary asked me if I've fished with it. Yes, I have fished with it. I haven't caught any fish with it yet, so I don't really know how it works, how good it works.
Booster says he watched the Javelin gill and he liked the gilly better. I'm going to tell you right now, Booster, the Imagatsu Javelin gill is better in the water than the gilly. You can the Javelin gill actually, when you run it slow, it runs perfect. And the gilly, you need to have a little bit more speed on it to make it run right.
I'm gonna run that. I gotta know now. I gotta.
Okay,
go. You got it.
I'll hang out. My boy Ray. Everyone should go. Ray is a writer. Says it's not just the RD that jacks up the price, but the promotion and advertising. Yeah, the promotion of what they're doing. And this past weekend, Pure Fishing went all out. Before the voting on Tuesday night, they had a press conference. I tried to go live on the press conference, but it didn't work. But in that press conference, they gave us a little pamphlet, these little sell sheets that told us everything and everything about every lure. And then they also gave us, I don't have it with me, I should have brought it with us. They gave us like Yeti cups that said Berkeley on them and so forth. So they fed us. They not only fed us, they brought in shrimp and hamburgers and little sliders and some vegetables and stuff, but they also gave us stuff so that when we left there, we would instantly go back into the conference and we would vote for them. So that was one of the things that we saw. So
guess what?
Is it? That's it.
You're right. When you started saying it, I was like, I know I've got something that looks just like that Berkeley gilly, and you rig it the same way. You run the bait sideways through this thing,
Which is a nightmare.
I bought this. I don't know how many years ago. Several years ago. You're right. These have been around a long time. I just got to figure out how to get it out of the package here.
I was not bribed, Ray, by the way. Ray is saying I was bribed. That bait is unbelievable. And you can take, does that one have the little slot on the top?
Yeah.
So you can take that chunk out and then it becomes it
and they've got
thinks better.
And these are the hooks they recommend you use with it.
Yeah, you had to buy a 6-aught one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was another reason why the gilly, the Javelin gill is so much better than the gilly. That little piece of plastic on the head, you can take that out and it will sink better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Javelin, the gilly does not have that. It's just going to swim the same way. So
this is a killer bait, though. This one,
insane bait in the water.
Yeah.
Insane bait in the water.
You do rig it, though. Some of you guys probably don't know. I'll show you. I'm not going to rig it, but I'll show you how the hook goes in like this.
Yes.
Well, you don't rig it like this. You rig it like this.
Yeah. Well, the Javelin gill, they do have they say you can use it as a drop shot and you can use it as a Texas rig. They actually are giving you inside of the packaging at the top, which you probably would never know. The top of the let me see. I don't have one, but I'm going to just use an example. So if you took the top and this was a sticker up here, this actually is like a little. You take that piece of paper out, and it'll show you 4 different ways to rig the bait, which really helps because on the one that you have and the one that I have, they don't have that, and that's the first nightmare of that bait. So that bait is really amazing.
Why do you think there's so much hype behind the Berkeley one?
I think in the case of the Berkeley one, I think the price is right. They look fantastic to start off with. They swim fantastic you have to swim at a little faster pace than that Javelin gill. That one the one you have, that one you can swim at the slowest pace, and it hunts, and it works. The gilly needs a little bit faster pace. So I think it looks professional. It swims fantastic. And really, when it comes down to it, if you can get 4 of those baits for $10, you just sign my ass up right now for 2 or 3 of every size, and it'll be something else. So
cool. I'm obviously going to try it because I always do. I always, like I said, I fall for the stuff, hook, line, and sinker, and I'm going to try it.
Yeah, that's how it is. Berkeley really did something amazing. It's not only that bait that did well, the new jigs that they have come out that has the power scent or whatever it's named inside, infused into the max scent inside of the silicone is absolutely ridiculous. And when you pick one up and you put it by your nose, you smell that funk.
Really?
And you're like, "Ooh, okay, here we go." And supposedly they spent 10 years. Gary Klein told me they spent 10 years doing it. So that's an amazing thing that they're doing. Pure Fishing does some outstanding things. I mean, they're bringing back the Sebile Magic Swimmer, which I think is arguably one of the best swim baits that's ever been made. I think I call it the stupid swim bait because if you can just make a cast with it and just reel it in slow, it hunts really well. So they came out really good this past week. They did everything right, it seemed like.
That's cool. I was watching iCast, and one of the guys mentioned this. I don't know why this thought came into my head, but he mentioned that in 2020 there was 9 million new fishermen added to the market.
Yeah.
9 million.
Yeah. The goal is how do we keep those people included into swimming and teach them how to become better anglers?
Yeah.
That's what we have to do. I think we'll see a decline in some of it, but you know what? If we can do something to help those anglers learn how to fish better and catch fish and enjoy what they're doing and stay outdoors, it only helps us. The industry is just Ray just said that was only in Florida, by the way. They had that many new licenses sold. I mean, I think overall, licenses sold I think it was up like 150 some odd % last year.
That's
something ridiculous. So
that's crazy.
It showed at iCast, to be honest. Most people, my buddy, it's Wild Fish, Wild Places. He signed literally 8 unbelievable deals. I can't go into it. 8 unbelievable deals.
Really?
So
awesome.
I know I went and talked to people, and I didn't get any no's last week at all.
Wow, that's awesome.
So that's a good thing. And there's and I even might even be doing a little collaboration too. So we'll see if it works out and see what happens. We'll see.
That's great.
So what else? What else do you want to know? Do you want to know all my notes?
Yeah. Break them out.
George is doing videos for beginners. That's a great idea.
It is a great idea.
Shout out Topwater Johnny. Shout out Topwater Johnny. Knew he was watching. They just need to say hello. So to start off with, the show was not as big as 2019. We're going to skip 2020 as just a complete failure for ASA because last year they had a virtual conference. It was horrible. I mean, on a 1 to 10, it was a 35. It was that bad. So we're not going to, every time you hear me talk about this, you're going to see we're going to talk about 2019. 2019 they had probably more media people versus retailers or buyers to come in. So you have to remember iCast is really designed for retailers to come out and to see the new product and then place orders for the following year. And in most cases, media has always trumped the retailers. by, I want to say 80-20. I think this year, for the first time, that was probably 90-10. And I think there was only 10% media people versus the 90% retailers.
Wow.
The retailers showed up in droves, and it was nice to see. And some of the, I can only tell you what happened for tackle webs is when we set up, before we set up on Tuesday, when it was all said and done, we had agreed that we would never, ever, ever go back to iCast. This was it. We're done. We were like, this is expensive. It's expensive.
Sure.
But we were like, look, we could just save this money and rent 3 houses down in the Keys, for one for Mike's family, one for Marcella's family, one for my family, not be somewhat close to each other for the whole week of iCast. And we could get so much more content and photos and so much more that it would be better for our marketing dollar than going to iCast. And then Mike, we had our party Wednesday night, and we had a good day Wednesday. And then Thursday, Mike had 2 of the biggest sales he's ever had.
Really?
I mean, astronomical.
That's awesome.
And we were so excited, and we went back on Thursday afternoon or Thursday night, and we had the TTI. I had a TTI Blakemore dinner, but before I went to dinner, I went back to the hotel and showered and kind of got cleaned up. And I went over to Mike's room, and I said, "You are really, really gonna hate me." And he's like, "I don't want to hate you, Steve." And I'm like, "What I'm about to tell you, you're gonna hate me." And in front of Marcella and the whole Tackle Webs team, I said, "We have to show up again next year." And he's like, I freaking hate you, but he didn't say freaking. And he was like, "I hate that you said that, because I know that you're right. And now we have to come back, because you kind of have to show where you are in the industry. Sometimes when you're at iCast for so long and you don't show up, people think that maybe you went out of business." I mean, truth be told,
really,
Rapala and Sims and Sixth Sense and all these people that I had known for years weren't there. And I can't tell you how many times people ask me, "Are you sure Sixth Sense is still making lures?" And I thought, what in the hell are people thinking?
Yeah, holy cow.
So as much as it stinks to say that, I think this year, for a majority of the people that were exhibitors, I think they found out that there were a lot of sales going on. I mean, even like Thunderhawk Lures did insane amount of business. And I know Florida Tackle Club was out talking to people, and Vic on Florida Tackle Club had 6 or 7 deals that he's never been able to make. He ended up making for his boxes. So, I mean, it just seemed like everybody seemed to really have a great show. And that just shows how successful the industry is right now. So it was positive. It was still a lot smaller. I think it was probably 40 or 45% smaller than I'd ever seen it. But there was still a lot of retailers, and I realized the other thing is that I didn't see as many pro anglers this year than I usually do. I'm used to, and maybe I didn't really look for them as much this year as I have in the past. But of course, Jacob Wheeler and KVD and Jason Christie, all those guys were there. But
right,
it seemed like I didn't see Ike and Ellie at all. I didn't see him at all. I don't even know if he was there.
Huh?
And there weren't a lot of the Asian companies and the Japanese companies that usually come in and are looking to knock off everything. There were none of them at the show. So that, and nothing against any of them, that kind of helped the whole, selling. And it just seemed like it just seemed like even though it was a little bit smaller, it really it seemed like things were working for everyone a lot better. I guess that's the best way to say it.
Well, all the videos that I watched, it looked like it was a great time, and there was a lot of excitement, a lot of cool products. I was really wishing I could have been down there.
Yeah, I think it, see, I would have liked you to be here because it's nice to see someone like yourself who's never been there.
Yeah.
To see your enthusiasm and your excitement for it.
Right.
Where I hate to say this, I am completely 100% jaded.
You are.
I really am. I have no problem admitting it. I see things and I'm like, that's shit. I mean, the stupid animated lure had like a 20 by 30 booth. And the amount of people that were at this booth just made me go, what is wrong with people? Who is going to buy that lure over a really good glide bait or a really good, like the new big blade from Z-Man? Would someone who's a really good angler want that lure over the new big blade or the mini max or any of that stuff? I'm completely, I'm like, I don't get it. So
which of the best of shows, the best product, of each category, which were you most surprised with?
Probably
I'm talking about lures.
That one?
Yeah, the one.
The gilly probably.
Really? I thought maybe that little crab that which company was it that put the crab out there?
Nyko?
No, it was it wasn't Lunker Hunt. It was
now you're gonna make me look it up too.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up.
Yeah. I didn't vote for that one, I can tell you that.
Yeah, it won. And it's got 3 sizes, and it's very lifelike looking, but I mean that's absolutely a saltwater lure.
Yeah, there were some saltwater stuff that was, you could see. I mean that new Chapo is pretty.
Yeah,
it's that bait is stout.
I mean it's really just a Whopper Plopper knockoff, though, right?
It is. Other than it's got a line through technology, and it's a little bit heavier than.
Yeah, I think it was Savage Gear that made that. I think Ray's right. Made the crab.
Yeah, I stopped by Savage Gear, and I have a buddy that works or is part owner in Savage Gear, and I that Savage Gear is it's very close to a chase bait crab. Now that I'm seeing it, I will say, yeah. I will say one of the things that really everybody's going to is that Elastec or that super soft, stretchy stuff.
Yeah, that's what that crab's made out of.
Yeah, it seems like that's what everybody is going towards now. I don't know if that's going to help sales or hurt sales. I know when we go saltwater fishing, that kind of saltwater that really does help because we get puffer fish that just nip, and they take care of everything. Ray said Nico had some great looking crabs. I'd never seen Nico baits before, and they were really good people. They had they had that, I don't even know, that one bait, the winnow, I guess that's it. That was like a little swim bait, and they stretched it out, and it I don't know how well it'll fish, but those guys were really good. They were really good people. I think they got in trouble though. So you're not allowed technically to bribe people.
Yeah.
And of all things, they had they were standing outside. So you were up on the second floor. You had to go down an escalator and into the conference. And so you would go down the escalator. They were standing at the escalator saying, "Hey, look, vote for me. Here's a free pack. Here's a free lure. Here's
Ah,
and
ah.
and it of course it didn't work for them, but I think they got kicked out at some point. And because out of nowhere, I was leaving, and they were like, "Yeah, they got us. They kicked us out." And but it's
Interesting.
it's amazing how much of a popularity contest it is. I mean, we know that we had 60 plus votes for tackle webs, and we didn't win. And we figured
Wow.
we only needed 25 or 30 to win, and
Really?
obviously that wasn't the case. So it was.
Well, you know, you were talking about the Elastec thing. I would really be upset if everything went Elastec, or whatever you want to call that plastic. Z-Man calls it Elastec, the stretchy, durable,
Yeah,
floaty plastic. But I mean, it's definitely durable. It's awesome for that, and it's awesome for the fact that it floats. But you know, I have a lot of presentations I don't want a floating soft plastic lure.
it's very that kind of plastic is very buoyant, and ever all the way across the board.
The other thing is, I like to dip my soft plastic in dyes a lot. You cannot do that with an Elastec product. It just immediately disintegrates in your dye.
Yes,
Uh,
you like spike it.
I like Spike It. I like JJ's Magic. I like all that kind of stuff.
Spike It was right behind tackle webs, so we were smelling garlic for 3 straight days.
I mean, it lasts forever. That's what,
Yeah.
and I do love for my Ned rigs, man. I love those Z-Man TRDs and the other plastics. I think they're just fantastic. But they're limited, and I hate the fact that you touch them to any other plastic and it come back tomorrow and your stuff's all melted together.
Yeah.
It even warps your tackle trays, your tackle box trays. So it's definitely got its limitations.
Yeah, it definitely does. I think someone asked if anything new came out from Missile Baits from John Cruz. So John Cruz has a new a jig head, and so he was out and wanted to prove a point how much better his jig head was at iCast on the Water. Now, iCast on the Water is on a Tuesday from, of all things, 10:30 to 2:30 out in the middle of the heat on a pond in front of the convention center. And they stocked the pond 2 years ago. They put in 70 2 to 3 pounders and 1 giant 10-pound bass.
Really?
And then this year they restocked it to put even more fish in. Now, 2 years ago when they did iCast on the Water, those poor fish saw every new bait known to man, and every Hobie kayak and every new kayak on that water driving over them for 4 hours, and nobody caught a fish. I can tell you that when that iCast on the Water started again on that Tuesday morning, the only person I saw catch a fish was John Cruz on his new swim jig. And
really,
he threw it out and just bounced it a few times and just let it swim in, and he caught 4 fish in 7 casts. And I can tell you, once that happened, everybody that had a fishing pole went over and asked to borrow one of those jigs. I mean, I'm not joking.
Very interesting.
He caught the fish. I was standing out in front of his booth about 5 or 10 feet away from him. I kind of gave the little, how's it going, dude? He got up, walked over towards me. At that point in time, Fat Cat and I were sitting there talking about, I don't even know what we were talking about. And then he said to my boy, do you want to catch a fish? And said, I'll give you the only jig I have left if you want to use it. And then Thomas was like, no, don't worry about it. Blah, blah, blah. They had an ice cream shop. He was more interested in the ice cream shop. But his new jig is really, really good. John makes makes a lot of good products. He makes a lot of good products. And he's really one of those really good people. Oh my God, Fran is online. Hey, Fran. So he has that new Cruise. I don't know what what it's called, but he has a new one that's really pretty phenomenal. So it's one to check out when it's available. I don't know when it'll be available. It's a swim jig? It's a swim jig, and it caught fish. I mean, it caught fish.
Did the Booyah swim jig get any notice? Did they actually roll it out? Because they kept saying they were going to roll it out for iCast, and I haven't seen anything on it.
I didn't. I went over to Booyah to talk to them about that chatterbait that they make. I don't even know the name of it right off the top of my head, but they completely gave me like looked me over like I was scum. So I was like, okay, if that's how we're gonna do things, they had a whole bunch of people. So the last thing they wanted to do was be bothered by me, So I kind of just ran off and never went back. It is what it is. So okay, we talked about more retailers. We learned right off the bat that the pro anglers only go for Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday there's no pro anglers anywhere on the show floor. None. Zero. I don't know where they go. I don't know whether they're out there fishing. I don't know. I have no clue where they went, but they work for a day and a half, and then the rest of the time they're at home with their families or partying or who knows what they're doing. There's none. And I think that's a little bit funny. That
is a little funny.
Yeah. We talked about there are no Japan or no Canadian things in the convention center. There were less lures at the new product showcase than I've ever seen. Usually there's 300 or 400 hard plastic, soft plastic stuff. I think there were probably maybe 100, maybe less than that. So I saw iCast video from Booyah that included it. Okay, yeah. So they probably had it. I just didn't see it. We talked about the Gilly overall best to show. American Baitworks did bring out the new Scum Frog that looks amazing. I will say the American Baitworks Frog is the softest frog I've ever felt, the new one. It is ridiculous soft. I mean,
that's kind of been their trademark. They've always had super soft frogs. So now that they've got something even softer, that's pretty impressive.
It's almost like the same texture as the Laztec. It's that kind of soft.
Wow.
So they had American Baitworks had a good booth. They're good.
Scum Frog's definitely my favorite frog out there. The Scum Frog launch frog is my favorite frog at the moment.
Yeah,
I love that frog.
What about frog fur? I thought that was your favorite frog.
Oh, well, frog fur is on a completely different level. You can't even compare it to anything else. It's so incredible.
They have a new one, by the way.
They have back, boom, boom. Nothing like a Stanley frog fur frog.
We know Stanley Fishing is out there. Thank you for watching.
Yeah,
shout out Stanley Boom Boom Frog. They have a popping one that's coming out, by the way, with the frog.
Oh, nice.
So just so I can be the first one to tell you that. I know you were waiting for that.
I am waiting for it. I cannot wait.
You were holding your breath.
Yeah.
We thought we were going to lose Mr. Bass. He is now can breathe. He's going to sleep better tonight. Tell the wifey, shout it out. We're getting the boom boom popping frog, honey.
Boom boom with frog fur. The boom boom popper.
They opened up the last day. To teens, and the teens came out and literally wreaked havoc. I mean, they asked for everything in their mother. I mean, the amount.
Heck, that's what I would have done when I was a teenager. I'd have it's like trick or treating. I'd get my very biggest bag and go everywhere.
They came over to the Tackle Webs booth, asked for our 30-liter Ziploc or not 30-liter waterproof bag for free. By the way, they wanted it, and then they walked around and filled it up with hats and logos. I mean, you should have seen all the crap Thomas came home with. I was embarrassed by how much crap he came home with.
30-liter waterproof bag. That's not cheap.
Well, the Tackle Webs one's only like $39.99.
Okay.
So, and it has a cup holder, and I'll get one for you. There's probably 10 over on this other side.
Nice.
Okay, so we talked about that, and I told you about animated lures. I don't know how they're still back in business, but they still are. The rumor mill. Do we want to even talk about the rumor mill?
Heck yeah.
We talked about
rumors.
We talked about mega bass or monster bass.
Yeah, monster bass is going all hard baits. That's a good rumor.
Yep. There you go. Topwater Johnny has a boom boom popping frog already for
that. Bam! I got to see that. Yep. You need to DM that to me, Johnny, on my Instagram. Let me see what that thing looks like.
It was nonstop. I heard it from 12 people at least that Major League Fishing was buying bass.
Major League Fishing buying bass. You heard it first here.
I don't know if it'll be
during an iCast.
if I don't know if it'll be remotely true. I don't know. But I know that was I had anglers telling me it for the first time.
That is going to, if and when that happens, that is going to rock the pro fishing world like nothing else. Even more amazing than Major League Fishing actually just starting their own thing. I mean, the amount the amount of craziness
Oh
that
my
will
gosh.
happen when they make that announcement. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if it'll happen. I can tell you that Major League Fishing had probably had a 20 by 30 booth, maybe 30 by 30 booth, one of the bigger booths. Bass had a 10 by 20.
Really?
So that kind of, I should say, the first morning, Major League Fishing had a really nice breakfast set out for all the people. So you could walk over, say hello, and then get a little bit of breakfast, like, croissants, that kind of stuff. And it was, I didn't partake, but it was a nice gesture. And it was cool to see because, food at the convention centers, stupid. Like a pizza is $18 that is 4 pieces and like this big.
Really?
So yeah, it's ridiculous. It's you want to know what's great is at the iCast, once you start getting, you start having sponsors and stuff like that, there's a lot of sponsor dinners and there's sponsor lunches too. So while I didn't pay for anything Tuesday through Friday to eat, I did go to 3 or 4 dinners and lunches and stuff like that for them to say, oh, thanks, or this is what we need you to do, or, that kind of stuff. So that is always kind of cool. Free food always tastes better, in my opinion. It's just me.
Of course it does.
Yeah. It's not your own money. I mean,
absolutely.
Johnny said he's DMing you the new frog.
Sweet. Got to see that.
We talked, there wasn't a lot of media. Mike's whiteout party was awesome. We had it at this ice bar, and you walk into this bar and it was a regular bar outside. And then they had like a cooler, a giant, massive cooler that was 22 degrees. And you would go in there and everything is made out of completely ice. The drinks were made of ice, and the food was good and the drinks were flowing for the people who drank. I think I drank 3 bottles of water, and we had a great time. And slowly you could see people's inhibitions starting to go away. And then we had some women of the night show up, and I don't know how they got in. I will say I did give 7 badges to them, but I thought they were friends. So,
man, you're giving badges to the ladies of the night, man. You're instigating. You're the instigator. You're the one that's at fault there.
I knew the guy that was with them. So he was like, Steve, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he gave me a hug, blah blah blah. And then the next thing you know, he had 6 women with him, and one of them had this. So now I gotta be real careful. Had like okay, hold on, I'm moving my microphone. So she had like a dress that went like this, and every time she even went like this, it popped out.
Wow.
So
that's a J-Lo trick or something.
Dave Washburn. Their pimp was my boy Scott.
Oh, jeez. Oh my goodness.
So it was. Please tell me, Riley from Alaska. I am not telling any of them. So it was
phone book.
Yeah,
Booster. Booster knows something.
It was it was a little weird because I was leaving as they were coming in, and I had this little backpack, and I had the badges for anyone that was there. And then the next thing I know, he's like, do you have a badge for me? I'm like, yeah, of course. And then he's like, do you have badges for all of these girls? And I went, oh my gosh. And I said to my wife, I said, maybe we should stay. Ray's going to have a lot of fun with these chicks.
Oh my goodness.
And they were all they were just, at that point in time, the drinks were flowing. Man. It was an absolutely awesome party. We didn't have too many people there. We had just the right amount, and it was just awesome. Is this guy for real? I mean, who is he talking to? Illumination, you know who I am. I'm for real. So it was a good time, and it kind of showed how far we've grown for tackle webs, because 10 years ago we could have never done that, and to be able to do it for the vendors and the people that were part of the party and people that voted for us, it was really nice to do. It was just too funny at the end that happened. So the White Hour party was amazing. And of course I had the Daiichi TTI Blakemore dinner was unbelievable. I sat next to Randy Howell for the most of the night, and we had a great dinner and talked to him, and it was another good fun thing. And then Costa, the sunglasses, they took over the whole Top Golf in Orlando. I mean, they took over the whole place.
Jeez.
And that was unbelievable. I mean, it was unbelievable. So it was really cool. And they had food, and you want to talk about, they had, I think their VIP party, I think they had over 1,500 people show up.
Really?
So, Costa usually does a great party every year on Thursday. And usually it's at a bar in Orlando, and then they buy out the whole bar, and then it's just a really good time. Except it's so crowded usually that you can't talk or do anything. So they did Top Golf, and they had all these games, and they had prizes and all sorts of stuff. It was pretty spectacular.
Well, they won in their category, with their glasses, and they've won like 11 years straight in a row.
Yeah, that new glasses, I even have it. It was the Untangled series. It's made out of used cast nets, so it's really a great recycled, sunglass that is really phenomenal. So something to look at too.
Mm-hmm.
That was another thing. They had Ken Duke, your good friend, my good friend, hosted the most interesting angler dinner party of all time. Was the name of it.
The most interesting angler.
I cannot.
That's got to be Fat Cat Newton.
For sure. Fat Cat was not there.
Okay. He's definitely interesting. That fishing rod that he was showing everybody. He stole the show with that thing.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't think I've ever used the term game changer for iCast. Everybody always is talking about like what is it for the kayak fisherman guy? He has a Chad Hoover, and all these other people are always talking about the game changer that's happening.
Right.
But the real thing is there really isn't any serious in the last 10 years. There hasn't been any thinking that just you get there and you just go, your mind is exploded. You go, okay, that's kind of cool. But everything is always a game changer. It's always a game changer. So I think in my last, not tomorrow, it might be tomorrow's, I do an interview with Fat Cat just on the game changer.
Oh man, that game changer is absolutely a game changer. If nothing more, because he calls it the game changer.
Yes. And really, it's his way of making fun of all the people that say game changer.
That's hilarious.
I should say that they're thinking about making that rod, and that if you buy one, the money goes to St. Jude's.
Oh, really?
So if they do that, I'm going to buy one just because.
I'd buy one just for the novelty of it.
Yeah. And Fat Cat, he went through. He was in St. Jude's when he was younger. If you know anything about Bernard, one of the nicest guys in the world. He unbelievably creative. You don't realize how much he puts into. Like if you've ever watched any of his videos, he actually storybooks his videos on where the camera's going to be, how he's going to react. So it's really odd. It's he does a great job. He's a great friend and a great dude. And that's his way of kind of making fun of the industry.
Yeah.
Because Everybody has a game changer last week. Every email that came out was we've blank blah 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 has a game changer. So that's just his way of making fun. And like I said, I think tomorrow's video on the channel has a video with him.
Awesome.
So some interesting. Yeah, I talked about the collabs. Oh, I think I said this on your thing over the weekend. Johnny Morris is having the world's fishing fair, bringing that back. It'll be in Missouri. It will be the biggest show of all time. It will be the biggest show of all time, and it'll be open to the public. And everybody who has anything remotely to do with fishing will have to be there because of Johnny Morris.
That is going to be incredible.
It will be incredible. So that'll be cool. The other kind of rumor, and I think it's already been announced, Bass Pro is going to buy Sportsman Warehouse. Yep. Roland Martin said that it was Tackle Warehouse, and I got friends that texted me asking if that was true. But it is Sportsman's Warehouse that they're going to purchase, and that's a great thing for. I don't even know. They have a lot of stores. They have more stores than you think.
I didn't realize that until somebody corrected me.
Yeah,
they were a lot smaller because, where I live, I don't think we have any here.
Yeah, we don't have any down here either. I think they're out west too. So it'll Johnny Morris will have that, and that'll be really cool. Hopefully that show will be good, but also he is taking over the industry. I mean, Johnny Morris just does everything. He just does everything.
He really does.
And really a good dude. And then my last note was, man, my relationship with Bill Dance, who I call Daddy, has went to another level.
We got to hear about this. Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, every time we see each other, we sit down and we talk. I mean, I've known Bill for years. And I think we'll have him on here. I talked to his daughter about it. She said if we did it during the day, we could probably maneuver having him on with us. So something to think about. We might have to just go, okay, we're doing an extra show or whatever because we're getting Bill Dance on the show.
Awesome. That will be great.
So I saw Bill. I saw him at the New Product Showcase. That's when I saw him. I saw him Tuesday evening, and he saw me from a long way away, and our eyes connected like old lovers. And I kind of went one way because I knew what was about to happen, and kind of, gave the wave, and then went, oh, I got work over there. One of the And then I saw Ken, and I beelined to Ken. And then the next thing I know, it was Ken, Bill, and I looking through Bill's phone on pictures and texts and things that I should not know.
Oh my goodness.
And
that sounds like there's more to hear there.
Yeah, there's a lot more to hear there. But we rekindled it, as he said, it's been 2 years and he and I have seen each other. But for the rest of the weekend, Bill thought it would be funny to, every time he saw me in the aisle or anywhere around, to scream at the top of his lungs, can somebody get security? Because I want Steve Chapman out of the booth, out of the show.
How many times did he do that?
About 30.
Wow.
And at one time I'm like, what? Do you realize that people think I'm that I'm the crazy one in this thing? And but the other thing, so it was when Johnny Morris was making his presentation, I think on Wednesday morning. So Bill said to me Tuesday night, he said, hey, come up to this Johnny Morris thing, because he was doing his that press conference, and nobody knew about it. Only a few people knew. And so he's like, I'll get you in, just show up and just hang out with me. I'm like, okay, thank you. So I got up there on Wednesday morning, and so Roland Martin was standing right here next to me. And then Bill was standing there, and then Jimmy Houston was standing in front of us. And then Kevin Van Dam was here. I mean, it was a who's who around me. And then Jacob Wheeler and Jonathan Van Dam were over here, and Johnny Morris was directly in front of me. It was the craziest thing. Johnny Morris walked out of this door, and he went directly to me to say, "Hey, Steve, how are you doing?" And I was like fangirling out. I actually stopped and went, "You know my name?" And he goes, "Of course I know your name, Steve." I'm like, "This is awesome."
That is amazing.
So then Roland put his arm around me, pinched my butt, and said, "When are we going bow hunting?"
Have you ever been bow hunting?
Never in my life.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So then I'm now he's got his arm around me, and now Bill and Johnny Morris are standing directly in front of me, and I'm looking at Bill going, what is he talking about? He's my buddy's next to me, by the way, and my buddy's trying to weasel his way in and try to say hello to everybody.
Heck yeah.
Kevin Van Dam's in front of me, and Kevin's laughing at me, and he knows the look that's happening right now. I'm giving the look of the "oh shit, what is going on" look. I'm like, so Roland says, "Why don't you come out to the house and we'll go bow hunting together?" And I'm like, "What? What are you talking?" I'm doing this. I'm going,
"Well, you just live down the road from him. You ought to try it."
He's like, "Just come to the house and we'll go bow hunting." I'm like, oh, okay. So now he turns away for a second, still has his arm around me. I look at Bill. I go, "What should I say?" He goes, "Just go with it, Steve. Just go with it." So then he turns back around and goes, "When are you coming over?" I go, "I'll come over next week." And he goes, "Text me later and we'll set it all up." I'm like, I'll text you as soon as the press conference is over. And I'm thinking, what the hell is going on here? Now everybody around me is laughing at me. And I'm like, I'm the biggest fool of all time in this group. Why am I First off, I said to Kevin, I go, "Did you ever think that I would be the person that everyone wants to talk to?" And his exact words were, "I don't ever want to talk to you. So why would I think that?" And then he laughed and gave me a high five. And I said to Bill, I go, "What should I do?" He goes, "Steve, just run with it. Okay. Just run with it. It's rolling." So then for the rest of that press conference, everybody came over to me and said, "Do you have a business card? I'd like to bow hunt with you too." And I'm like, what the hell? I don't own a bow. I've never went bow hunting. All I know how to do is fish. And so it was completely uncomfortable, but it was the funniest thing because everybody was busting my chops about it. I mean, I saw Kevin that day, and he goes, "If I would have known you know how to bow hunt, we could have done that instead of went fishing together." I'm like, "I understand, dude. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone."
Oh man!
And it was that and the going into the women's bathroom was the two highlights of the whole weekend.
Wow.
So it was cool. It was really cool. I mean, I'll be honest. I didn't stay for the whole Johnny Morris press conference. I got like 15 or 18 minutes in, and I was like, okay, this is taking too long. Let's just get over it. So I texted a buddy and I said, "Can you just tell me what this is about?" And he's like, "Yeah, this is what it's about. It's about the World's Fishing Fair in 50 years and all this stuff that Sportsman's Warehouse, that all these little things." And so I ducked out really fast and left. So, there's too many other things you got to do at iCast than
pretty busy week.
Yeah, than the press conferences. So it was overall. I like I said, I think it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of walking. I was unbelievably tired.
Did you count your steps during the week?
Yeah, I did 34,000 on Wednesday.
Wow.
I think when it was all done, I think it was like at 68 or 69,000 steps for 3 days.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it was a lot. Tuesday was really tough.
Okay, I need to ask. Hey Siri, how many steps in a mile?
So I think it's
Here's an answer from reference.com.
10,000.
The number of steps per mile depends on the individual.
Every 2 miles.
The number is
2,000 to 2,500 steps per mile.
So for me, at my height, I think it was every 72 or 7,300 steps was 2 miles.
Yeah, so you put some mileage in.
Yeah, I was sore.
No wonder you lost 10 pounds or whatever. Yeah, that's a
I-
lot of hoofing, as Dave says there.
Yeah, I was sore on Tuesday, and I was just happy that at the ice bar party was super cold, and I could just sit my fat ass down and just chill and do that because it was.
I saw one of those ice bars in Vegas.
Yeah, it's cool.
And, yeah, it's really wild. Everything's in ice. The tables, the chairs, I mean, literally everything.
So any questions? What do you want to know?
Well,
I think some things that we can't share though.
Yeah, well, that's true. I guess we better not share those then. But I'd really like to know the real scoop on whether Major League Fishing's buying bass. That's really all that matters.
Yeah, I talked to somebody directly about that. I mean, I think I told you this. I was not allowed to ask that question. I was told that they would come on the show if we didn't ask that question.
That is really crazy.
When am I buying a bow?
May as well.
Yeah.
Get your camo gear and your bow and your crossbow, and you can go to town.
Yeah, I should buy a bow and bring it over to Patrick's house and kill some carp because we have 14,000 carp in his pond, and we need to eradicate some of them. Interesting.
That's really cool. Well, it looked like it was a pretty successful week, especially if you're saying so many more deals were made this year. It's got to be a result of the whole COVID backlash of so many new fishing anglers buying products out there.
I really think it is.
Did anybody talk about shortages or anything like that, like in the supply chains or anything? Because that's got to be somewhat concerning. It seemed like most of 2020, the tackle stores were completely empty, and they're starting to get better. But like I was at Academy the other day, and about half their shelves are still empty.
Yeah, they're the people who have stock of products. So I think you got some of the snake coils from DOA.
Yeah, I did.
So Mark Nichols, who is the owner of DOA, is arguably one of the best anglers you could ever meet. He has done it all. I mean, he really has done it all. He actually, I didn't say this. They had one of those tanks that's on a semi that they fill up with water and put bass in them.
Yeah.
It leaked.
Really?
It leaked. It completely drained the whole thing out. The fish had none. You should have seen it was madhouse. I'm not joking. Madhouse that went on when it happened. But they fixed it and got it all taken care of. But he was taking that snake coil. Now you know those fish get in that thing and they get every lure looked at them. Sure. He was actually taking that snake coil, putting on a little weight on it, and just casting it and letting it sink down. He was the only person I saw over 3 days continuously catch fish on that lure, or the fish attack it as it dropped down. The snake.
Really?
They would not pass it up, and I've never seen anyone fish it like that. And he was like, "This is how I fish it," and I was like, "What? You don't fish it on top of the water like a snake?" And then I was like, "Okay, wait a minute, what's going on?" So then I'm like, I walked over to him and I'm like, "Explain to me what you got doing." But it was unbelievable. But he was saying the one thing that DOA had, like, I don't even know how much stock. Let's just say they had 100,000 bags of baits. He said they went through all of that and were able to keep up with his supply chain, but everybody bought 3 times more than he's ever bought in 1 year. So much so that he was actually thinking about buying 7 new things to make his soft plastics to jet the stuff in. That's how well he had done. So everybody who had stock did really well. Thunderhawk Lures had a massive amount of stock. So every time somebody came in and they said, "Yeah, we can get that to you in 2 weeks," they were getting checks written to them right then.
Really?
Where other people like that Strike, I don't know if it's the Strike King the one that Todd Castledine talked about for months and months and months, flat-sided shallow water crankbait, they can't get those in yet. So there's still a lot of supply and demand. There's a lot of companies are saying where they they were hoping to get things in 3 months. They're now saying that it's not 90 days that they're going to get stuff in from China. It's 120 days when they're going to get stuff from China. So they're still somewhat way behind. And a lot of people, like, there's a new frog coming out from Ketchco. They've already got that. They've already got those in. So they're going to have those new frogs in like in the next month or two, which is great for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's other people that are saying, like the Hercules and some of these other, the Gilly and stuff like that. They're hoping at best case that we get them at the beginning of the year.
Well, that's iCast is all about timing too.
Yeah.
You don't want to roll out a brand new lure and then it not show up for a year.
Yeah.
That would be really bad.
And there's a lot that happens a lot. I hate to admit it, but it happened a couple times to Patrick in a band of anglers. He came to the show and then said, here's what we're going to come out with in the next year. I mean, we actually saw the water bull jig like 18 months ago. And as of iCast just this 2 weeks ago, I got my first water bulls.
Oh, really?
So there's still, and that might be something to do with, there might be some back end stuff like that, but there's getting product in is still going to be a challenge for a lot of people, a lot of people. And I think that had a lot to do with why a lot of people pulled out of iCast, because they knew if they came in and they didn't have everything they wanted there, that it does and will hurt you. You don't want to have someone place a big order and then not be able to fulfill it for, 16, 18 months. That sucks.
This is interesting. Zoom put out a press release this week that said they were not bought and never will be bought out, but they are having supply issues.
Well, I mean, Culprit Riptide pours their own plastic, and some of these guys, there's a big place in it's the Hybrid Hunter. Thank you. Hybrid Hunter. They haven't fulfilled those orders for 6 or 8 months right now.
Really?
I'll just say it. Hybrid Hunter was supposed to be in the FTC box 6 months ago, and he hadn't been able to get them. And he's not buying a lot of them either. So that kind of stinks.
Yeah.
Some people shoot their own plastics. Culprit Riptide, those guys, most of them, they deal with a company in Jacksonville that does it. And they've been able to keep up with pouring plastics for all these people that do them made in the United States, like DOA and these guys. But they don't do the LazTech ones. All that stuff is pretty much overseas, I think. They just make the regular plastic. But the place in Jacksonville, they've had to rehire people nonstop because they're slammed with work. They're slammed with work. So all we can do is hope that everyone keeps doing it, and that at some point in time, Pure Fishing was saying that they were going to go up. They told everybody, I think it's the end of this month, that all their products are going to go up 15 or 20% because it's they can't get it in, and the supply and demand just makes it harder to get. And there's, it costs a little bit more to bring things in now, and shipping costs are ridiculous. And, it is what it is. It's just part of the industry, I guess.
Yeah. This whole economy is kind of this way right now.
Ray, you have my phone number. You can text me. You're allowed to text me, Ray. You know me. I've known Ray. Ray's one of the best guides in the world. I've known Ray for like 15 years.
Is he a guy down in Florida?
Yeah. I need to go fish with him.
Yeah, I do too.
So what else do we need to know about iCast? What are the questions? What does everyone over there on the text? What questions do you have for us?
Yeah, I haven't seen any. I've seen a few comments here and there about a lot of comments about stuff, but I haven't seen questions. That would be nice to know what you guys want to know about iCast, the whole iCast world.
I'm not going bow hunting with you though. Yeah, I'm not a bow hunting. I don't even know. Yeah. You don't want that. Me having you got to be scared with me on your boat with a hook. Imagine me with a bow.
Yeah, that sounds like a formula that's just danger. Lots of danger.
Having said that, I did win the Ray can account to this. I won the FOA BB gun challenge a couple of years ago and outshot everybody.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm. They call me Deadeye Chapman.
Just take your BB gun to the bow hunt and see how that works.
Pew pew.
You'll shoot your eye out.
13 fishing, yeah.
I was really hoping I could make it down there. It looked like it was a great time.
Yeah, schedule it for next year. I
will definitely schedule it for next year because I will be super excited. You need some enthusiasm in your life, man.
Yeah. Well, in all honesty, I think you need to come for you. This is what I would say. I think you need to get down here on like a Monday night.
Okay.
Tuesday morning, you get up and you do the iCast tournament. They have an iCast tournament.
Yeah.
Everyone that's like maybe 7 to 11. You get to fish with a Major League Fishing pro and a sponsor.
Cool.
So it's a good way to meet people.
Yeah, great.
Then you do iCast on the water, and then you chillax. You just kind of let's take the afternoon off, and then you gear yourself up for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and just go all out, balls to the wall, all out, and just take all of it in that you can do.
Yeah, that's what I need to do.
There's so many people, like, in all honesty, there's so many people that I miss because, you walk down the aisles and you look at things and, you stop and talk to people, blah, 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 and you keep walking but it would be nice to see, like, Top Water Johnny did some videos and I was like, oh, I didn't even see that person. And I was like, holy crap, I didn't believe, in all honesty, I was looking for Stanford lures and the Boom Boom Frog. I wanted to tell him how much I love the frog. I wanted to, and I didn't see them at all. But I kind of focus on, as much as I want to do to talk to the smaller companies and that kind of stuff, and try to find those little kind of somewhat neat things. It's still the big name people are the ones that the majority of the time I'm talking to. I know that sounds terrible.
It does. It sounds real stuck up.
It does.
Snobby.
It does sound snobby. I don't mean to be that way at all.
That's probably why I wanted to partner with you, because I'm such a lure snob. You and I kind of get we're a good combination.
Yeah, I think I'm just a redneck is all I think. I think I have no problem admitting I'm just a redneck and just try to be as honest as possible, like you do.
Yeah.
The Nico baits from iCast, those are great looking baits. They really are. They gave me a pack. I got them somewhere over here. At iCast, I should mention, I try not to ask for anything. I don't want anything from you at iCast. I know that sounds weird. My goal is to not get any lures from anyone at iCast. If you want to send me something after iCast is over, that's the way I'd rather do it. Excluding Nico, because they came over and just kept pushing that lure and saying, just take a pack. I'm like, okay. I'll, that's good. And then after that, I kind of just, I prefer not to get them. There's too many things you got to carry as is. And the last thing I want to have is a backpack full of junk that I probably won't use.
You're jaded, man. You're jaded.
I know. That's why it would be good for you. I mean, even Top Water.
I'd be like, look at all this junk they gave me, man. This is awesome. I love this junk. And then I'd take it home, and what I didn't use, I'd put in the buckets.
Yeah. It's a great. I mean, we get enough of that stuff in the tackle in the subscription tackle boxes is what we get.
You're not kidding. You are not kidding.
Fisherman, I would carry it all for you. I mean, shopping carts at the next iCast. You want to know, a lot of times that happens. on Friday, you could walk around and bring $100 and say, "Hey, would you take $5 for one of those lures?" And they'd probably give it to you. They'd sell it to you just so they don't have to pack it up and put it away.
Heck yeah.
I know I was walking.
Old Johnny likes the junk too.
Yeah. It's a good way to get content by all means. I just I brought more than a duffel bag. I had all sorts of stuff. It's just, it's just something I don't do. I don't like to ask for anything. I'll be brutally honest. I don't like to ask for stuff, if that's how it is.
That's just the way you are wired, huh?
Yeah, it's just me. Like, I mean, I was offered one of every size packs of the gilly from Pure Fishing, and they had them in a bag. You
didn't take the gilly, man?
I didn't. And then they had Josh said to me, "Here, take one of every of the new jigs." And I'm like, no, I don't want that. And then he said, "Let me at least give you a Chapo." And I'm like, "Josh, I don't want it." And then today he emailed me and said, "Hey, let me have your address so I can send it all to you." And I said, "Okay, I'll take it now." So
interesting, man. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, or something like that. You got to take it while you can get it. At iCast, by the time you get back, it's too late.
Yeah, that was. I think that was the one thing I regret this year. I'm used to coming home and editing whatever I do that day, and putting it out that day. And this year, I had a hotel room at the Hilton on the grounds of the convention center. Now, the convention center is only like 35 or 40 minutes away, but the sponsor parties that I had to go to were, I mean, I was getting out at 10:30, 11 o'clock. So to drive home and then get up early and make that, it made it more. This was the first year that I stayed down there. Also, Sonia and Thomas stayed down there too. So that was a little break for them too. So it was, it worked out really good, other than, the Hilton. I can't tell you how much we spent on, I don't know what's in a pina colada. I know how much they cost now, and pina coladas are freaking expensive. I don't know. I don't know how many rums or tequilas or vodkas are in it, but I know the ones at the Hilton were $17.50 for one.
Wow.
And I was like, what the hell is in that to make them $17.50?
$17.50 for one. That sounds crazy.
Exactly. So Steve is a tackle heretic. Yes. So it was an interesting week. I'm glad it's over. You caught a lot. You were feeling some of my anxiety like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's right. Right, it was for sure. Well, when I had to send you the message last week and say, "Hey, I'm tied up in Arkansas. I'm not going to get back in time," I could almost see through the text message. You're like, "Hallelujah. He's not going to be ready for the show. Hallelujah."
Well, I was like that morning. I said to Edwin, because he was at the Tackle Webs booth, I said, "When we get to the party tonight, I'm handing you my phone. You're going to be on the phone with my buddy, Mr. Bass, and you're not allowed to get off of that till you answer every question that he wants to know." And
dang, that would have been good.
And Edwin was like, "Okay, I'm only going to be." I'm like, "Don't give me this malarkey that you're only going to be there for a little bit." And then of all things, when you said we were done, I said to him, "Oh, don't worry about it." And he goes, "Good, I'm not going to the party then." And I'm like, "What?"
So now Edwin owes me something. Owes me a favor for getting him out of the party.
Yes. So I think he had
Edwin Evers. I've said this before, but his YouTube channel is really, really good. He's one of the best teaching pros out there. He does top-notch educational fishing videos. And if you're kind of new to the world of fishing and you want to learn how to fish or how to get better at fishing, Edwin Evers' channel is excellent. It yes. Really, really is.
I texted you something. Don't say it on the air though.
Okay.
Yeah, Edwin is what he does is he has that whole Major League Fishing guys film it and edit it, so it is absolutely top notch for YouTube, especially.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
So, and one of the nicest guys in the whole world, one of the nicest guys. He was signing autographs at the Tackle Webs booth and shaking hands and kissing babies and doing that whole thing on 2 or 3 days in the morning. So it was good to see him, and he just is one of the great guys. I didn't see Ott Defoe. Now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't see Ott at all, which I should have. I didn't see Ike and Ellie, but I wasn't sure if Ike and Ellie was there.
Well, it was really bizarre. That Hobie rolled out the brand new game changer, Mike Iaconelli, Hobie Pro Angler 14, and he wasn't there for it. And I was kind of shocked by that because they'd been promoting it, several weeks up. There's going to be this amazing Hobie announcement, and Ike was saying there's going to be an amazing Hobie announcement. So I was like, okay, Ike's connected to this amazing announcement somehow. And lo and behold, they've got the new Mike Iaconelli. The color is pretty awesome.
Yeah, the red in the mouth.
The red. But he wasn't. They did a video of him, but he wasn't even personally there. And I thought, man, he must have something going on, because that makes no sense to hype it that much and not show up for it. But I don't know all the details.
Yeah, I don't know any of the details either. I found it weird. I saw the kayak because I was over at Hobie for a good hour and a half on Wednesday and mentioned it, and looked at it and just went, is it just the color that changed? And they're like, yeah, that's why it's a game changer. And I'm like, okay, you're gonna get killed by Fat Cat when he hears this. This is right up his alley. So I mean, I think Hobie makes the best kayaks in the world. I think there's no doubt about it. They're expensive, but they're great.
They are great.
They are great. So it's I don't know. I don't know. I didn't see anything different other than a price change, other than a cool red.
Me too. I have the Hobie Pro Angler 14. I have that exact boat. So I was looking closely, and I think there's 3 differences. The color, Iaconelli has his name on it, and there's like some foot pads that have his name in it. I didn't really notice anything else different.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything really different either. Hopefully they can sell them. It would be really,
it's $200 more than the other one too. It's like $5,200.
Yeah, I would love to know how many they sell. That would be a key, because is someone really going to buy a kayak because Mike Iaconelli it's a Mike Iaconelli red on it, and with the shark fin on the front?
Well, I think what you got to look at is there is a market. Is a market out there that pays $5,000 for the Hobie Pro Angler. So will they pay an extra $200 to get a red one? They might. They might. I really question whether it would bring new kayak, brand new people in. I doubt that, but who knows? I mean,
I don't know either.
I do like the red color a lot.
But are you willing to pay $200 more for the kayak because it's red over the other colors?
Probably not.
Yeah. I mean, you could take that $200 and buy a new rod or a reel or something.
Yeah.
Why not do that instead of spend $200 to make a red kayak?
Speaking of rods, Mike Iaconelli has some nice rods.
Yeah.
Abu Garcia, I think, is his sponsor.
Yeah, there's a bunch of new Jordan Lee stuff coming out too.
Oh,
so
is there?
That will be really good. I didn't see Jordan out there. Oh, maybe I did see Jordan at the Pure Fishing booth. So he's got a whole bunch of new baits coming out too. They're all that 3D or not 3D. They're that high definition stuff. They look like it's printed on. It's a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
It's another one of the plethora of new baits they have coming out. They had a lot of new stuff. They had a lot of new stuff. Abu Garcia had some new reels. 13 Fishing had some reels.
So one question I got for you about iCast.
Okay.
What did you do during the week of iCast that upset, pissed off, and alienated more people from you in the industry? I mean, every time you say something completely honestly, you tick someone else off again. So who did you upset this week? You had to have said in a nice way, your product really sucks to somebody.
I told someone their product was shit. I will totally
okay.
admit
There you
that.
go.
At first, I thought I was going to have a problem with Lunker Hunt when Lunker Hunt is directly across the street from Tackle Webs. The God's honest truth, I started to panic. I started to panic. I was like, oh my gosh, the things I said about the spider, and I mean, I didn't even put the one video. I'll be honest. I have one video of their top water. Hold on. Let me look at my done videos folder real fast. Hold on.
I know you love their spider. I've heard all about that spider from you, about how amazing that thing is.
Yeah, that thing's junk. So Lunker Hunt has a impact turbine buzz bait.
Oh, impact turbine. Holy crap, is it electric?
It is not.
Coal fired?
So I talked about this on your thing. I finished that video March 15th. I've never put it up. I'm worried about that they'll be mad. Also, it's a little, I don't want to say it's adult oriented, but I make some adult references that I thought, well, I think I've told you know this.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, let me hold on to it. So when I saw Lunker Hunt directly across from Mike, I thought, oh, we're in a world of trouble. I even said to Mike, I'm not going to be able to do anything here. Because they've commented and sent me emails about, maybe I've not given them, enough credit and stuff like that. And I just reply, look, this is just, I've caught 3 fish on 3 spiders. They're $10-11, and the spider, the legs fall off after one bite. So there's something that you've done on your end. Don't blame me for your problems. I'm just being honest about it. So I worried about that. But when I saw that they didn't have their owner and the people that I know there, everything completely was like, everything was just, I felt good. But then I started walking around. I saw that stupid animated lure. And the guy called me out and said how I was wrong. And I said to him, how was I wrong? And he said, well, you can see the lures working in the box here, and they're working perfectly fine. And I said, well, hold on. You must not listen to that. I talked about how your customer service was horrible and that the lure that I got was shit. It was junk. And he said, well, he got like this. And I'm like,
really?
Well, really, he didn't get like this. He got like this. Because he was probably about 5'1" and I'm 6'4". So I said, I kind of gave him the, hey, what's going on? And then he said something, and I just told him, I think your lures are junk. I don't know why and I made it loud enough. I said, I don't know why anyone in this booth is even remotely thinking of purchasing these for their store, because your customer service sucks. And if your customer service sucks, your lure sucks. And that's just how it is. That's my opinion. And I think I proved in the video. I should tell you that since iCast started, that video's got like 2,000 views. And I don't know why. It's been my most popular video on my channel the last 7 days.
Wow.
And I don't get it, but I think that they could have done things better, and they could have handled what happened to me a lot better. And then he said, he went through the whole thing about how my video had lied, and I said, I think I documented everything perfectly. If there was something else that I didn't I did wrong, if you can prove it to me, then show it to me, and then I'll make another video and say sorry. But he couldn't do that, and I just thought, I wish you the best of luck, but I think you got a crap lure. And so I kind of left it at that. And then I'll be honest, I was scared to walk around that corner every time I went. and I just thought, I don't want to start an argument with somebody, but at the same time, there's certain things that there's always some sort of gimmicky thing, and I still think that that's a gimmick. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know anyone that's got one that's caught fish, even though they say they catch fish nonstop.
Uh-huh.
And really, here's my question. I said to it, I said, any real angler is not going to buy a mechanical lure that you have to charge off your phone. It only works for 45 minutes over a chatterbait. And if they do, then good for you. But
the little B, frog fur. Yep.
Yeah.
You're right, man. You were right.
Yeah, I think that was the only thing, that and getting yelled at by Karen in the bathroom. That was the only thing that was really negative for me.
Okay. Well, that's not as bad as I envisioned.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to be, this, it's hard to be honest on some of these things.
Yeah, it is actually.
It really is.
Well, because here's one thing. If it's a quality issue, like every time I fish with this lure, the hooks break off. Okay, that's one thing. But a lot of it is subjective. Mm-hmm. You may look at something and say that's total crap, and I may look at it and say, I love this thing. What are you talking about? This is amazing. And there's always a little bit of that in any lure or anything you're doing a video on or you're talking about. We've got our own personal preferences and our own personal likes and dislikes that do kind of taint the way we look at things on some levels. So that's part of it, but I think you're pretty fair. You try to be as fair as you can be.
Yeah. I mean, I know a little bit more on what goes on in the industry than a lot of this. I know a lot of the behind the scenes. I guess that's the best way to put it. So in the case of the animated lure, or even in Topwater, Johnny mentioned the Guggen. I talked to LFG, whatever, Justin, and I said, hey, thank you, and I really expected a you're welcome back. And then if you see the video, there is an awkward pause of me going, thank you. Huh? Yeah, nothing back.
Crickets.
And so, I don't know how much media those guys do. I think they're great in front of in front of a video camera, and they can edit that down, but maybe they're not used to media people coming up and talking to them. And that might have been some of the issue, or I don't know if it was just, I kind of felt like he was better than me.
Really?
That's what I left that on that one.
Interesting.
And you want to know, he probably is better than me, and I don't mind that. That doesn't bother me at all. So
one thing I noticed is that the old AFCO kind of stole the clothing show.
Oh God, they won everything.
They won everything on all their fishing clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, they won everything. They had AFCO had a great show. I think Z-Man had a great show.
Oh, did they?
Oh God, the Z-Man booth was packed.
Yeah. So when are you sending me one of those big honking fat chatterbaits and one of those tiny little minis?
I have a few.
Yeah.
I only have. I should say they're all the same color, by the way.
I mean, here's a guy that has inside contacts, and he tells them no at the deal. I don't want anything. Jeez.
But they sent those to me. Well, let's be honest.
Before you got those.
Yeah, you knew I had those a month ahead of time. You got a picture of those a month ahead of time.
I know it. I was like,
and I said,
dang.
hey,
and then I had to wait an entire month
before you could say anything.
And then I'm like, how long are we gonna have to wait after that to actually get one in my hands?
They had Z-Man had a great show. Really had a great show. I think them and Pure Fishing. I mean, there was a time at Pure Fishing you couldn't get in the booth on Wednesday and Thursday. They had I was scheduled for an interview from 12 to 12:30, and I showed up at 12 o'clock, and they said, "Who do you want to interview with?" And I said, "Well, if Josh is around, Josh is my buddy. I'll interview with him." And they were like, "Well, we don't have him. Do you want to interview with Edwin?" And I'm like, "Okay, well, let's do Edwin." And then Edwin goes, "Steve and I know each other too well. Get somebody else." So then I don't even know the guy that ended up doing it with me, Steve or something, ended up coming out and doing it. And I was like, okay, this works perfectly fine. But their booth was jammed. Like,
interesting.
Savage Gear had probably a pretty good show. They had a really nice booth. 13 Fishing did really well. Temple Fork Outfitters probably did really well because they had a bunch of stock. I think you're going to hear some Temple Fork Outfitters from the two of us here in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
And
quality product.
Yeah, there's a lot of there. It seemed like everyone did really well. There were some people that had, like, there was I was going to do an interview with him, but he had a weedless spinner bait, and every time, I don't even know what was on it. Every time I went by his booth, there was nobody there, and I kind of felt bad. And even like the mechanical frog guy, that guy just didn't. Some of these guys, they put up a booth, and then they don't man it, and that makes no sense. Why spend the money to go into it? So
exactly.
Yeah. It's interesting. A couple of people, Stephen, here on the iCast, have seen a touch unprepared for some. Yeah, you want to know, the little B. You want to know what happens is when you talk to some of these guys, they're not used to talking to media. I wish I could tell the pro anglers. I dealt with a pro angler 4 or 5 or 6 years ago that had a problem. Very unbelievably successful angler that just couldn't talk to media. And when the media asked him questions, he kind of just blanked. And a lot of these guys, some of these guys just don't, they're uncomfortable when a camera gets in front of them. And some of them are not ready at all. Some are very unprepared. And that's crazy because I don't really go into too much of it. I try to ask the regular questions. And then there's other times where I just go, just tell me about your product. It's just easier. I can tell. You can instantly see who knows what they're talking about and who's just there and is part of the booth.
Right. So what did you think of Seagar's basic fluorocarbon?
They're going to sell a ton of it.
Yeah.
They're going to sell a ton of it. They've got, is it unbelievable? No. It's going to be priced good.
It's basically their attempt to get price-minded anglers out of the mono market and into the fluoro market.
Yep, because fluoro, I think they said is a good fluoro is $1 a foot, and they're not going to do that anymore.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's like Tatsu level crazy there.
Yeah, they're going to do really well. While there wasn't a lot of fantastic, great new things out there that just made you mind-boggling, mind-blown, there'll be a lot of new products that are going to help us catch fish in the next year.
Matthew says it's pretty much just Red Label with a different name.
Yeah.
It's the basic. It's the basics for the basics. Well, man, we're about done here.
Yeah.
About another minute or two. It was fun. It's over. iCast is done for another year. And it will be very interesting. In my part of the world, COVID is kind of surging right now.
Same with here.
And I hope this thing just kind of settles down and goes away so that we start getting back to real life. I would hate to go through another series of lockdowns that drag into months and then another year of insanity.
I can tell you there weren't a lot of masks worn.
Really?
Yeah, there really wasn't. And we're having a surge here in Orlando. We're having a real surge. Sonia's having to wear a mask at work all the time again.
Really? Yeah.
So, but she's a she's dealing with it every day. But yeah, it was. They were giving away free masks at Guy Harvey the first day, and no lie, I took 30 of them because I thought just to be safe, put in my pocket just in case. The one thing I did take, that, and every time someone had hand sanitizer, yours truly grabbed. I went, whoever this is.
But now get this. You say, no, don't give me those new lures.
Hey.
Don't give me those new baits. I want your hand sanitizer. That's what I want. Please let me get a bag and I'll fill up. I want to take all the sand. You don't make any sense at all, Steve.
As I put hand sanitizer on right now, I'm not joking. Anyone who had free hand sanitizer, I would say, are those for us? And they go, yeah. This I don't even know who this is. Welcome to the slow pitch jigging revolution.
Hey, slow pitch jigging revolution.
At the end of the show, the woman walked by and she says, I have a case. I said, I will take it.
Oh, man. This dude won't take a brand new lure, but he'll take a case of. Oh my goodness! What are we going to do with you?
I got offered reels too, and I'm like, no, I don't want those. No, thank you,
guys. Can you believe this? He's offered brand new reels, and he wants hand sanitizer.
I took all the hand sanitizer I could get.
Oh my goodness!
I have a hand phobia. You know this, right?
Yes, you did tell me that.
Yes, I have a serious hand phobia.
Yeah. Well,
like I can't shake hands.
If you're taking a whole case of hand sanitizer, it definitely shows. Oh, man. Yeah, you're not kidding, John. He's killing me too. All right, well,
thinking y'all better more.
Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. If you want more live, my show's on Sunday night. And by the way, Sean Z. If you're on, I didn't see you on tonight, but I still haven't gotten your address, and you won the Champions Club box last Sunday night. So get in contact with me so I can send it to you, man. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Steve. It was fun. And Steve, you want to send us home?
Remember, take kid fishing. Subscribe to the channels. Give us a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Right on. Hit that thumbs up.
And take kid fishing, and we'll see you guys soon. Get your fish on.
Goodbye.
Later.